Mike Zeller with me, Joe Rainier, for tonight's championship bowling. And we're glad you could join us. Tom Lynch, our #2 seed, facing off against Stan Senk. Tom, 33 years old, out of West Haven, Connecticut. Tom has got a Pro Tour victory to his credit. He's been on the Pro Tour for some 9 years. And of course, you've already met Stan Senk. He won our first match tonight. Stan, 37 years old, out of Cranston, Rhode Island. So both players, both bowlers tonight have their one tour victory. Both would like to add. And of course, a win here is crucial to that effort, as they've got to move on to face our top seed, Nemo Lingerman, who you'll be seeing in just a few minutes here on Championship Bowling. Stan Senk first up. And that's sort of an interesting strategy on the part of Tom Lynch, isn't it? In terms of having the option to go force your opponent to bowl first or bowl last. And he decided to have Stan Senk start the match.
Oh, nice try, Stan. And everyone's psychology of why they choose it is different. It's amazing. You could write a book on just questioning the bowlers as to why. And they have good reasons. You know, a bowler says, well, some of them like to finish last. They like to know what they need. Others say, well, if I can start first, then I can put the pressure on. Now here, Tom has chose to let Stan lead off, which will put Stan under pressure in the 10th frame if it comes down to that. And I personally would go the way Tom Lynch did. If it were my choice, I would like to finish the game. If you can approach the game with the psychology, you need all you can get with every ball you throw. It really doesn't matter.
Tom comes in with a 158 qualifying average and a high game of 191. We have to mention that these bowlers, to get to this point, had to beat out 150 DPBA Tour members who participated in the stop. And we're down to the final, actually 3. We've already eliminated John Schramm in the last match. Stan Senk won it, 174-161, if you're just joining us.
Having a little trouble finding the front one here. That is a key to the confidence, is to get out of the gate, as we say, with you know, a strong ball on the head pin, either pocket. Move some pins around so that you feel like you're right on your game right out of the gate. It's only 10 frames, so they can slip away very quickly.
First time we've seen Tom in a televised final, and of course, it's got to shake out some of the butterflies. Being on TV does a little something to your game. There he picks up another 10, so he's got 20 through the first 2 frames, both open, and Stan Senk will come in working off an open frame in the first.
Yes, the TV definitely fools with the mental part of the game. You think differently. Of course, Stan showed us a little bit of everything the first game, making a split, making a chop, throwing a triple header, and of course shooting a real fine 174.
Intense concentration on his face there, and moves forward and picks up the first mark in this match, featuring our 2nd and 3rd seeded bowlers for tonight.
Stan's one of our tour members that can bowl a 10-game qualifier and not say 10 words. Puts his balls on the rack and lets bowl. Taking a little more time this game, Mike, than he was a little quicker. Maybe he's adjusted to the TV, and he sure showed that he has.
He's put some adjustments there. He comes out with his first 2 marks, including a strike here in the 3rd frame. Watch it as they go down.
You watch our professional bowlers and their form. One thing most of them have in common is the good knee bend. There he leaves 6, 7, 10. A very tough split.
It was a better ball, though, I think, for him than through the first 2 frames.
Nice shot. Yes, what happened and what probably caused the split was the fact that he told himself, I'm going to hit the front pin. And he probably took a little off the ball to get his track, to get in the middle of the lane.
Yep. Left it to the left there, so he picks up 9.29 after 3 frames for Tom Lynch. And move into the 4th. He's got to pick up a mark here to keep it close.
And for his own confidence, he needs. There, he threw that ball well.
And he got some help.
pins know, Mike. When you get the good snap on the ball, the pins know, and you're rewarded. There you'll see the pins spreading and coming off the side to take out the 3 and 4 with the last 2 pins to fall.
It's going to make Tom Lynch feel a little bit better. Certainly Stan Senk doesn't need to feel any better. He's doing quite well here. He's working on a double now.
Yes, he's brought quite a weapon with him in the strike, and he's putting them together. He had a triple in the first game, shooting 174. Here he starts out with a 9 frame, spare, strike, strike.
He's waiting for his favorite ball to come back.
The strike ball, right? Can't blame him for that.
Now each of the bowlers can bring as many balls as they want to the match. However, they all have to be measured and weighed before
They're all
registration.
checked
And what are the dimensions on that, Joe? I think it's...
Well, they have 2 sizes as far as the physical size of the ball. That's a 5-inch diameter or 4 7/8. And then they have weights that run everywhere from... They've developed a smaller, lighter ball for children that start around 2 pound 9 ounces, and our maximum weight's 3 pound 12 ounces. And you'll find most of the pro bowlers are between 310 and 312.
So Stan Senk an open frame in the 5th. He's got 77. May leave the door open just a bit for Tom Lynch to get back in this.
Yes, if he can make this mark and a count on it, he can keep it under 10 pins. And he'd have to feel pretty good about that after watching Stan throw the doubleheader as he makes the 1-3-6 for a spare in the 5th frame. Tom's really hasn't gotten on track. He's only hit the head pin twice. He had a split and a strike. That's a good ball. Up, pushed it through.
Trailing by 14 pins after 5 frames, and Tom bowling here in the 6th.
Tom sort of sets the ball up on the pedestal as you watch him as he gets ready to throw. He sets it up on his fingertips and lets it kind of slide into the hand.
He's got 9. Gives him a 72. Stan Senk working on the open frame in the 5th.
Stan knocks the middle out, leaving the 2-4-3-6. Stan definitely what we call a pin bowler if you watch his eyes. They're constantly on his object pin.
Takes out 2, and he'll have 2 remaining for the 3rd ball here in the 6th frame. So after 6 complete frames, Stan has a 15-pin advantage, 87-72 over Tom Lynch. And Stan trying to continue to climb the ladder and move into our championship match against Nemo Lingerman. Nemo, the top qualifier today's show, averaged 166. And Stan Senk will need the offensive power that we just saw there to compete with Nemo Lingerman in the championship match should he advance. So now Tom Lynch bowling in the 7th. Needs to put up some marks. Needs to put them up badly to close the gap. No help.
Ball.
Leaves the 7.
I think he's found his stroke, Mike.
Let's see if it's too late in the match to come back.
Well, the count ball right here is the big ball. This is the 8th frame, and when you're behind, you definitely have to mark in the 8th, 9th, and 10th frame, because your partner, of course, Stan, he showed us his weapon, and he's been throwing the strike. Okay, he kicks 8 out, leaving the 6-10, giving him 90 through 7 to Stan's 97. But Stan does have a strike in the 7th frame. Big spare.
He's got it. So Tom Lynch has recovered from a slow start to come on. Now Stan Senk will try to hold off the charge in the 8th frame, working off the strike in the 7th, as you mentioned, Joe. And we've seen him go from a very rapid, quick delivery in the first match tonight to a much more deliberate attempt at moving on here in this match.
Very rapid footwork.
He's got the spare.
.117 plus in the 8th to 100 plus for Tom Lynch. 17 pins, both bowlers having a spare in the 8th frame. It amazes me how well Stan controls the ball because he has a small hand.
That 8 count gives him a 125 in the 8th and a chance to pick up another mark here.
It's a big one for Stan. It keeps the spread. Probably the most picked 2-pinner by a right-hand bowler that turns the ball like Stan does, because that right at the 6th pin is right where the ball sort of straightens out.
So he picks up 10, 135 in the 9th. And now Tom Lynch comes up to see if he can't do something to put the pressure on Stan Senk in the attempt, but he's got a long road ahead of him.
Well, the pick plays a very important mental part because it gives Tom, you know, a breath of air, and he punches through. The old 2-4-3-6. That's when the ball is so close to being 9 or a strike. Gave it a nice shot. Let's see, if he makes those 2, it'll be 116. He'll be behind 19 pins. If he strikes out, he can shoot 146. Stan would need a mark if Tom were to throw a triple header. This must be, of course, he must have a strike here. A spare and a strike would give him 136, so he has to have a double header. Oh, tough break. He did all that he could possibly do. So we're going to have Stan Senk, who has won the first 2 games here, facing top seed Nemo Lingerman, who finished 2nd on our TV show and is looking for his first star.
So Tom Lynch finishes up in the 10th frame, 125. Stan Senk will be the winner of this match. Just a question of what he ends up with for a final score. As see him rapidly approach the line and fire away. This is just to serve notice to Nemo Lingerman that he is ready and waiting.
If Stan makes this, he'll be in the 150s with the count. 174 his first game against John Schramm's 161.
Actually, you should set up a pretty interesting championship match between Stan and Nemo, as both throw a lot of strikes.
Yes, they do. Nemo, of course, being a left-hander that really gets a lot on the ball. He's one of our hardest throwing bowlers.
Stan not wasting any time to get this match over with. Finishes up with a nice 153. So he's a winner by 18 pins over Tom Lynch. So our number 3 seed, Stan Senk, continues to move on in tonight's championship bowling. He climbs the ladder to fight Nemo Lingerman in the championship match when we return in just a moment.